Hello everyone, this is James Shore with another test-driven JavaScript video. I'm recording this on August 28th, 2012, and picking up right where we left off in the last episode, where we had just finished getting 404 working with our server. So now our little Node.js server will return a static home page and return a 404 error when you ask for anything else. So that is moving right along. We're serving 404 errors. Do we want a custom 404 page? Well, maybe. I don't want to. I really want to move on. I want to get on to the client side stuff. I think it will. I think it will be more interesting. But all the stuff we're doing here is really fundamental, and we will rely on this for the rest of our project. So it's good to have this stuff, but I feel like we've spent a lot of time on it, and I think it's time to move on. But before we do, let's just make sure everything's nice and clean. We've got this new HTTP GET method, which is a nice little helper method. I like to have my helper methods at the bottom. So let's move that there after all of our tests. We've got this here. We're saying our server serves a home page from a file. Yep. Let's rename this to be, well, no, I think, yeah, let's rename this to be expected data. Oops. Let's try this again. Let's rename this to be expected data. There we go. Okay. So server returns, let's just make sure that works since it was a little weird. Yeah. Server returns every 404 for everything else. And I'm pretty confident that if it returns it for this, then it returns it for everything. So I don't need to do more than that. Server returns home page and asks for index. For this one, let's see if we can get away with not actually writing out the test data. That may not work. It's probably going to fail. Yeah. Can't find it. So, but we don't need a variable for it because we're not checking the value. There we go. And we know our teardown will clean that up. Server requires the file to serve. And yeah. One thing I'd like to do is get some doc comments into JavaScript and start statically checking things like this, because it's really a waste of, it's a pain to write tests around it and a waste of time. So I'll put that in our to-dos. So runs the callback, stop. Okay, let's just clean up these method names and then I think we're done. So this is all about the server. So we'll just say we'll serve a home page from a file. We returns 404 for everything except home page. Returns home page when asked for index. Returns the file to serve, or requires file parameter. Requires port number parameter. Runs callback when stop completes. And throws exception if stop called when not running. Actually, no, I think I like it better. We'll say stop throws exception if when not running. There we go. Okay, that's nice and clean. I'm pretty happy with this code. So it is all integration test code, but that is really what we're doing here, is all integration-y stuff. So I'm okay with that. And then over here, this would fail if port number is a 0, but I don't think that's legal, so I'm not going to worry about it. And even if it is legal, it's not something we're going to be doing. So again, I'm not worried about it. We're not handling errors properly. But let's go ahead and put that in our future work, because I don't think, yeah, I'm not going to worry about that right now. Again, just because I feel like we've spent enough time on the server and I'd like to move on. Okay, I think this is all pretty clean. So what should we do next? I think what we are missing here is we need to do, so we've got this here. We spiked serving a file. This is all done. You know what we need to do? We need to do some exploratory testing. We need to just make sure this thing actually works. It works from testing, but test won't tell you if you, test will only tell you if you've programmed things correctly, or it will only tell you if you've programmed things the way you meant to. TDD will never tell you if what you're thinking is dumb. There's just no way for TDD to tell you that you are barking up the wrong tree. For example, if we think that 404 actually means something different than it does, it will still tell us, yes, we're doing 404. Maybe that's not an example. But anyway, my point is that I might not actually be serving anything that works. So let's go ahead and actually run this. Oh, and we'll need to give it a file and everything. Okay. The world's simplest homepage. Okay, so we're going to say server.start homepage.html port 8080, and that should be working. Let's see what happens. Yay! Okay, we've got a homepage. Now let's look at the web console. See what we've got coming in. Okay, so if we go to localhost 8080 / it still works. If we go to localhost 8080 index.html, it still works. If we go to localhost 8080 index.htmls, we get nothing back, and that's probably because, yeah, we're not returning any data with our 404 not found. We're just saying 404 not found. So it looks like we do need to say what the actual page will be when we do a 404. So, but everything else is looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and stop the server and just make sure that that worked. Actually, it doesn't seem like it did. That's interesting. So why didn't the server stop? So we start the server. There it is. Now we're supposed to pass into server.stop a function, which is our callback. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I just called it wrong. Interesting. That's surprising. So it says it stopped. But it doesn't seem to be stopping in Firefox. That may just be because we've got, oh no, that time it said it stopped. How weird. What is going on here? But even so, Firefox is giving us the data. I'll bet you that we've got some caching issues with Firefox. I have installed a little tool called HTTP-IE, which is really handy. It's a command line HTTP tool, sort of like curl, CURL, but a little more user friendly. I've just installed it. I'm not sure how good it's going to be, but let's go ahead and try it. So if we say HTTP GET localhost 8080, what does it tell us? Connection refused. And if we start the server and do that, it tells us we've got it. And then if we stop the server, connection refused. But this guy still shows us that it exists. Okay, so what we have here is just Firefox being too friendly. It's caching it, which is why it's nice to have a command line tool like this. So let's just go ahead and start this from scratch just to make sure that everything works the way we think it should. So load up the server. We'll start it. Let's try a different port. We'll get it. There it is. We'll stop it. There. Well, it seems to be working. I'm not sure what that issue was, but it was a little weird. So unfortunately, that spent a lot of time on that issue, but we have now done a little exploratory testing on this. We are successfully serving 404 errors, but we do want a custom 404 page. We're going to do that, and then that will be it for the server-side stuff. Then we'll start looking at pushing this to the internet and then getting into client-side stuff. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.